UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira has shut down the idea of taking on YouTuber-turned-boxer Jake Paul in the ring in the near future. Poatan fought for the third time this year against Khalil Rountree Jr. earlier this month. The Brazilian successfully defended his light heavyweight title against the American at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, while the challenger put up a fight. In the championship rounds, a gassed and bloodied Rountree could only take so much punishment, with the 37-year-old going on to win via knockout in the fourth round. Not long after the fight, in a chat with Egan, Paul was asked how a boxing fight with Pereira would play out. 1000% I would beat him, he said. That's the thing is, Rountree actually kind of exposed that he doesn't have a high volume output. He doesn't like body shots. In MMA, Pereira would rip my head off. But boxing is a completely different sport. And the pace of it, and the style of it. He has holes. I mean, Rountree rocked him, hurt him a couple of times to the body. But didn't follow up on it. So if anything, this fight showed me, yes, Alex Pereira is great. But I know I would beat him in a boxing match. And I still would love to make that happen. Pressure is on him. If he can find his way out of the UFC contract like Nate Diaz did, then eventually him and I can talk. Over the last few months, the problem child has made a bit of a habit calling out the UFC superstar. Immediately after his recent win against Mike Perry, Paul used the post-fight interview as an opportunity to call out the 37-year-old. And Alex Pereira, you said you want to box. I'm the king of this, he said. I'm the king of this. Come over. We can make it happen. I want you, Alex Pereira. Indeed. Indeed. I just beat a BKFC champion. I beat multiple UFC champions. And he said he wants to box. So Alex Pereira, after Mike Tyson, let's make it happen. Despite appearing eager to face the UFC champion, Pereira has completely shut down the idea of taking on the young American in the ring due to his commitments with the MMA organization. In an interview with Ariel Helwani, when asked for his thoughts on fighting the problem child, Poatan said, I'm going to be honest. Of course, boxing interests me. But he knows that I'm under contract to the UFC and I can't just leave. I think that's why he calls me out and says all of that. He concluded, I think if the UFC was a league that allowed everyone to fight everywhere, he wouldn't be saying that. Poatan is now taking a break away from the sport, but insists he'll be back early next year as he looks set to face the winner Magomed Ankalaev vs Alexander Rakic, which is scheduled to take place later this month. As for Paul, the 27-year-old is currently preparing for his showdown with Mike Tyson in November. In the same interview, Pereira had a few words for rival Jamal Hill, who was left unimpressed by the Brazilian's performance against Rountree. I'm going to be really honest with you, Ariel. If that performance with Khalil was S, where does my performance against Jamal rank then? So, you know what I mean. If that fight was C, how can he say that? He continued, but I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to further talk about Jamal. I have a lot of respect for your show. But I'm on a different level than him.